Welcome to our lecture online. We're now ready to talk about Subframe 3. And it does appear as if we spend a whole lot of time on Subframe 1 and not too much on Subframe 2, and it'll be the same for Subframe 3. At first, initially, we're going to take a look at the general structure and what's contained within it without giving you too many details. And then we're going to start talking a little bit more about the details of what's in Subframe 3, just like we will for Subframe 2. After all, it contains all the ephemeris data for that particular satellite. Remember, each satellite sends out its own ephemeris data. So what is in Subframe 3, words 1 through 5, which is the first half of that subframe? Well, it contains, of course, the TLM and, this is not the TLM, this should be the Hanover word. So we have the telemetry data and the Hanover word in the first two words of every subframe, so that stays the same. But we also have a couple of bits here. Bit 23 is a status flag and bit 24 is reserved. Of course, we have the 6 bits in each word for the parity bits so that we can make sure that the data is correct. So then we have 3 more words that are usable for other data. In this word 3, we have CIC and part of the next variable, which is then spread over these 2 words, word 3 and 4. CIC is the amplitude of the cosine harmonic correction term to the angle of inclination. So remember, we had some correction terms already in the previous subframe. Again, we have 2 more correct amplitudes of correction terms. One is the CIC, one is the CIS. So that's the amplitude of the cosine harmonic and the amplitude of the sine harmonic correction term to the angle of inclination. So again, due to the orbits not being perfectly stable, we need to have these correction terms, and of course the correction terms are going to be harmonic, harmonics of the cosine and the sine, because of the nature of the changes in the orbit due to the eccentricity of the orbit. All right, we also have these 2 variables right here. We have the longitude of the ascending node of the orbit plane at the weekly epoch, and we have the inclination angle at the reference time. So, of course, satellites, they ascend across the horizon so that they can be picked up as soon as they're high enough in the horizon. So this gives you the longitude of the ascending node of the orbit plane at the weekly epoch. And then we also have the inclination angle at a particular reference time. So what is the angle of inclination at a specific time that would then be given? Notice that we have a lot of bits associated with this variable right here. That's 8 plus 20 plus 24, which is 32 bits for the longitude of the ascending node. And we have 8 bits. Ooh, wait a minute. I have the impression that we probably have additional bits on word 6. So I would say that's probably also a 32-bit word, or I should say a 32-bit variable. We'll find out when we start talking about the next 5 words in subframe 3. So that's the inclination angle at reference time. Notice there's usually a lot of bits associated with these variables because we want them to be as accurately as possible so we know the exact location of that satellite. Satellites are very high up, about 20,000 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. They're moving at almost 4,000 kilometers per hour. And we need to know exactly where they're at any moment in time, so we have a lot of bits to determine what those variables are. And of course, those are then sent to us every 30 seconds in the 2 subframes which contain the ephemeris data. And that is how it's done. So what's in the next 5 words? Yep, there it is. There's the other 24 bits, just as suspected. All right. Argument of the perigee.